Hello, everyone. You're welcome to our channel today. This is Family Aspects, and I believe you are having a great day. Today, we want to talk about a particular issue that has been disturbing uh, a society. It's plunging our society big time, and is an issue of having families who has absent fathers. I mean, it's terrible to see how this has plundered the families around the world. Absent fathers. What can we do to solve this problem of absent fathers? What can we do? How can we change these problem? How can we alter it? Is there a way that we can change it? Is there a way we can make a positive impact, a positive change in our community through the uh, through families? How can we do it? How can we avoid the problem? Now, in America today, we have a very high rate of absent fathers, and most of statistics show that most of the um, activities, crime rates, criminal activities that is caused by young people is as a result of absent fathers in most families. We have young people who are struggling to identify themselves or pursue their purpose, recognize who they are, discover where they belong, and is a huge pain to single mothers in many nations of the world today. And we are discovering that children are growing up to find out that uh, uh, their father was that, their father was this, they didn't know what to do. The mother didn't know what to do, so they have to, run away with them, or the father had to run away, or whatever the situation, or probably the man is in prison, is behind bars, and all of that. All of these are coming up in ever increasing measure in many countries of the world. So we want to look at how can we solve this problem. It's huge. It's huge. Single parent right now in Europe, over 48% of families are single parent, and it's huge. It's dramatically high. We cannot continue having that as a kind of what will be just the story of life. But I disagree with that methodology where we say, well, that's just the story of life. That's not the story of life. We need to understand that we have responsibility as individuals. We have responsibility as family. We have responsibility. There's no two way about it. We know that we have responsibility. Of course, we have to stand up uh, to that responsibility. We need to stand up to that responsibility. We need to stand up to that responsibility. Now, I want to begin to share with you some of the things I think are very, very important in handling this situation. Personally, I feel that we all need uh, to come to a truthful conclusion. All right, we all need to come to a truthful conclusion that this thing exists. The question is, how can we solve it? How can we solve the problem of absent fathers? How can we solve it? Okay, and that's what I'm looking at. That's my concern. That's my take on this. Is there a way for us to solve this problem? Is there a way for us to resolve this issue? Of course. First of all, the problem is already there. We all admit that the problem of absent fathers exists right up from the start. We all know that the problem exists. Now, for us to solve this problem, I have done my research and I've been observing families, and I'm still observing a lot of families. So this is a common thing that is happening in Europe today. All right, is even outside Europe. We have other part of Asia, Africa, that is suffering the same problem, that we're having today. You see. So what can we do? How can we resolve this problem? Number one, for us to begin to tackle the problem of absent fathers or to avoid it, it begins with both the man and the woman, the husband and the wife. The man and woman who comes together must have a common ground, a common balance agreement. I mean, we must have a common ground. We cannot assume that things are just okay because we have affection for each other. We must come to the terms that, oh, we want families, okay, we don't want families, okay, then there will be no rush. Because some of the things that leads to these absent fathers that I'm going to be mentioning today is boiled down to the fact that both parties never actually sat down to have a plan, to be purposeful about their relationship. You cannot get involved in a relationship without a purpose. You got to make up your mind what you're going to do. If you want to have a relationship, have a relationship. If you want to have children, have children. But all of these decisions have to be planned. It have to be agreed upon. We should stop blaming ourselves or trying to blame other people for our own negligence, indecisive actions. You see, indecisive actions. Um, we need to first of all put ourselves in the first position of change. We need to put ourselves in the position of change. We need to think about what we really want out of relationship. We have to think about that. What do you really want out of your relationship? What are you here for? Why are you doing what you're doing? It's something you need to think about. You have to think about it as an individual. You have to make up your mind and say, "Lord, what? I'm here in a relationship. What do I really want from it? What do I really want from this relationship? What am I putting into this relationship? What is my aim? What is my objective? What is my target? What am I aiming at? What is he aiming at? What does he want?" So, number one, if we're going to change um, this situation, this problem of absent fathers in family, we have to look at the problem. We already know the problem. Some of us we are used to the problem of an absent father, a child coming up to you, "Where's my dad? Where's my father? Where is he? Who is my father? How does he look like? What happened? Why is he not here?" All of those questions shocking you as the mother of the child. It's not something you want to take lightly. It's a serious deal. It's a very, very, very serious deal. And you have been going through that all the time, all the while, and it's hurting you. You don't know what to say. I even have some people asking questions. What can I tell my child when he asks of his absent father, about his absent father? What can I tell him? How do I handle it? I'm tired of telling him lies. Now he's growing up. He wants to know who his father is. And all of those things are coming up. But we need to make up our mind what we're going to do. It's so important. We have to decide that, you know what, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. You have to agree, come in terms with your spouse that this is exactly how you want this relationship to be. It is so important, very, very important. So to start beginning to solve this problem, we have to look at the various things that cause this problem in the first place. What are the things that causes absent fathers? What leads to absent fathers? Those are the things we have to talk about. Those are the things we have to think about. What leads to absent fathers? There are various things, various problems or situations that leads to absent father. And I'm going to be listing some of them. And because you see, we need to solve these ones first. If we can put these things in place, there will be no absent father. Rather, there will be minimal of it, very minimal out of those who willfully want to be absent by choice. They just want to be absent fathers by choice. Those are the ones who will be affected, who obviously will be in existence after we eradicate some of these problems. Number one, we need to solve the problem of men walking out of a relationship because their partner is pregnant or gets pregnant. Now, there are men who are not man enough. I can say that because that's what I think. They are not man enough to handle the feeling, the responsibility of being a father. So when they hear that their partner gets pregnant or is pregnant, they walk out of the relationship. These are men without sense of responsibility. These are men without sense of responsibility. Is a problem that women don't recognize such men from afar. It's a problem that women don't understand that there are such men with such intentions who all they want is just to be around you but never want to be family committed. They are not interested in having to bear the responsibility of a child or having been a father. That is one of the things you have to look into. First, in your relationship, does he, if any way, by any means you get pregnant, do you think that he will be able to stand and say, yes, I'm responsible? That's fine. I'm glad you are pregnant. In many cases, all of these that leads to absent fathers, one of the major one is this. The things that leads to absent fathers is this. The man walks away on the relationship when the woman is pregnant. When he gets to know that the woman is pregnant, he walks out of the relationship. Now, here's my advice for most women out there. If you are going through this, probably you're dating someone now and you're not sure whether he's going to be with you, he's going to be an absent father or present father. Let me give you an idea. I think you should test him out. Test him out. Get to him one day and say you're pregnant. Probably you can be able to get because you need to save your life, save your future, and the future of your children from irresponsibility by doing this test. Tell him you're pregnant and see what he does, how he responds. Of course, you are not really pregnant, but you want to test the waters to see how he responds. You want to see if actually he's responsible. So you test the water. Tell him, man, you know what? I'm pregnant. I don't know what you think. I'm pregnant. What do you think? I did a test and I'm pregnant, and see how he responds, and see what he does after that. If he walks away and claim that he doesn't is not responsible or is getting upset and he walks away, that's a sign right there. That's a red flag for you right there. It's a red flag. What are you gonna do? Stay or save your future? That's number one. That's the problem we need to solve. First, we need to solve the problem of men walking out of relationship because his partner or his partner is pregnant or gets pregnant. They walk away. Number two, we need to solve the problem of fathers skipping around the nation to avoid paying support. Of course, now you're pregnant, you got the child, you're giving birth. Now the man doesn't want to support. The first instance is he denied it, and now finally he agreed that he's okay. I'm gonna have it's my child. I'm responsible, but you know what? I'm busy. And now he flies all around, skip every place, go to places he wants without thinking of affording the responsibility of paying support. He doesn't want to support you. He's not committed to supporting the child. That's a signal of an absent father. If a father a man who claims to be a father of a child doesn't support the health, the life, the upbringing of that child, then he has declared himself to be an absent father. So we need to solve that problem. Why would a man not support the life and upbringing of the child that he claims that is his? Well, ironically, he's still denying that he's not his child, because that I think that's why he's still skipping paying the child support. You see, there's a big problem there. We need to solve that. We also need, number three, we also need to solve the problem of women who do not tell their partner they are pregnant. There are women who get pregnant, and after a while, they refuse to. I mean, they know that they are pregnant. It takes them a while for them to even confront the man that they are pregnant. And this happen in relationships, not marriages. I'm talking about relationships here, whereby they are dating or getting to know each other, and then they begin to, live as husband and wife, act as husband and wife, and now they get pregnant. They're afraid to tell the man that they are pregnant. Why? I don't know. Probably they think the man will not accept it, which already they predicting that the man will not accept it. So they will not tell the man. They're afraid to tell the man that they are pregnant. And that is a huge problem in most cases from women. How can you be pregnant for a guy you said who loves you or you love, and you're afraid to tell him that you're pregnant for him? So when the man finds out, he's upset, angry. Why didn't you tell him? Because especially he's trying to avoid responsibility. But let's look at it this way. Let's say the man is not like what you think. He's a responsible man. He wanted to have a child with you. Probably he's have the plan to get married to you. So again, you cannot just assume that the man don't want it. So you as a woman, if you are in that shoe, stop doing that and don't even practice this. It's wrong, because if you get pregnant, tell him upright. Tell him right away, I'm pregnant. Like I said, I don't think you should get pregnant to a man who is not going to be responsible or committed to familyhood. Who is not going to be responsible as a father. You don't want to do that. That's why I said, number one, you got to test it. Otherwise, he walks away when he hears that you're pregnant. Test his responsibility. Test his level of commitment. Another problem we need to solve in avoiding absent fathers is that we need to solve the problem of fathers who are behind bars, who are put behind bars all the time. That is another pickle. Because you see, there are a lot of young men being put behind bars these days. The rise, the rise of imprisonment, let me put it that way, of young men in many nations today is overwhelming. We have young men being put in prison for no reason, and they have been separated from their families. Many of them are innocent. Many of them also have committed such crimes. They are victims, or some of them are victims, and some of them are just as baited as the crime is. I mean, they are guilty as charged. But we have these same people who have families. These young men has families, and they have been put away for years behind bars, put away for years. We have them spending 5 years a minimum. We have some spending 10, 15, 20 years, depending on the gravity of the crime. But we have to solve this problem of young men being put behind bars. Otherwise, we will still have to face the challenge of absent fathers. And you know what that means for a man not to be present, to for a child to grow up and without a father? Is a big deal. Is a big deal. Because every man is an icon to their children. Every man is an icon to their children. Every man is an hero to their children. We need to understand that. We need to see how important that is. This is key. So we need to solve the problem of fathers being put behind bars. Yeah, we have to. We have to. We have to solve that problem, because there are many fathers, many men who are put behind bars. Many that are put behind bars. And that problem needs to be resolved. That problem needs to be solved. The men need to become responsible. Men need to become responsible parents, responsible man and woman. We have to think of responsibility. We have to think of being important, being valuable. Otherwise, we will still have the high increase of young men put behind bars. Imagine a young man is fined doing the wrong thing, and he's been put in prison for how many donkey years? Maybe 4 or 5 years. Think about it. And he's separated from his wife, separated from his child or children. That's terrible. So we need to handle that. We need to really handle that. We need to handle that. Another problem that we need to solve, if we're going to stop absent fathers, we need to solve the problem of a father who denies a child that he is and drags the family to court because of that. There are some fathers, they know that this child is my child, but they will still have to deny it. And they want to go to court. And many of them end up doing DNA tests. But that have taken several years of being away from the child, of distancing yourself from the child, thinking that your child is not yours. All of these are major problems that we need to resolve. If we're going to stop the problem of absent father in families, then we have to think about, solving the problem of men who would just run away or who doesn't want the child. Then the first thing is, why did you get into a relationship? Why were you in relationship with that woman? You see, that's where it boils down to discussion, planning, purpose, communication. If you are in a relationship and you know the man doesn't want children, how on earth would you want to have a child for that man? How come you want to go ahead to give birth to children for the man and get pregnant? Then again, the women need to really sit down and think. Young women who are just too excited about this emotional thing, excited about this love thing, excited to be among those who are dating men, and excited to just be in the ingoing thing. You know what I mean? Women need to really understand that there are commitments involved. There are things, there are responsibility. We need to take that seriously. We need to solve the problem. If a man doesn't, if you ask the man, do you want to have children, and he says no, I don't like to have children, how come you want to give birth to a child for that man? How come you want to get pregnant? Why would you want to get pregnant for that man? It's erroneous to do. You see, so that's how you know if a man doesn't want a child. You first of all, you have to ask. So we need to solve the problem of mothers who play games to keep the father away. Yeah, there are women who play games. They just want the child. They don't want the relationship. I mean, they don't want to be a wife, but they just want to be a mother. There are women who think that way. I've met some. I've seen some of them. I mean, I've heard a lot of those people. I hear them talk. They say, "Well, I know. As soon as I have the child, I'm done. I mean, he's out. As soon as you have the child, he's out. What kind of a human being are you?" So all you were doing was to manipulate the man all this while, so that you can get pregnant. And then when you get pregnant, and then that's it, he's done. So the reason why he came into your life was to make him get pregnant. Now, I heard of a story of a woman who actually was manipulative in this line. She got this man in a relationship, and eventually got married, all right, or they were dating and then got married and got pregnant to this for this man, and they had a baby girl. And after they had the baby, the woman ran away. About a few months into they just had the child, they had the baby, she ran away with the child and ran off. After a few years, about 3 to 4 years later, the woman was was found to be in a relationship with another man, and then thinking that this is the man that she wants to marry now, settle down with. But she left with the child because this is one of the women who play games to keep the father away. We need to solve the problem. There are women like that who just play game to keep the man away. After having the child, they just want to keep the man away. The man should stay away. They are fine. They can raise the kid for themselves. They don't need a man anymore. They don't need the relationship. They just wanted to have children. They are not concerned about family. They are concerned about children, just to have a child. They want to get their name on the list of those who have children, who were able to bear children. Do you understand? There are women who think and live like that. They are not family oriented. They just want to have a baby and they walk away. And we have several men going through that trauma today. The problem of trying to get their child back, go connect back to the woman, is difficult. And we have many men who have been traumatized by this. Their life is no more good as a result of this. They thought they were in a relationship. They thought they were in a family union. Then after the baby comes, the woman changed. The woman is acting weird. And then before you know it, she run off with the child. And that's it. So we need to look at those areas in our relationship. We have to resolve that. If we don't want to have absent fathers, we have to resolve that problem. Now, another problem we need to solve, which will be actually the last point I want to make on this video, is the problem of violence. We need to solve the problem of violence if we are going to stop absent fathers from our families. We need to solve the problem of violence, because violence makes it unsafe for the children to be in a family. To be around a father, a dad who is violent is terrible. We don't want to have that kind of thing going on. As long as we have a father, parents, I mean, obviously we're talking about fathers now. As far as we have fathers who are violent, they are going to end up being absent fathers soon. Yeah. Many nations, many European nations, and even America, they have made it so easy now to be an absent father, for a man to be an absent father. So absent father is much more present now than it was 50 years ago, 25 years ago. So we need to look at that. Until these issues are resolved and addressed by the government, no, it's not going to be by the government, by us. It has to be addressed by us individuals. We who are getting to take the decisions of relationship, we are the one to resolve this problem by ourselves. Until these issues are resolved, we cannot begin to solve the problem of absent fathers. Yeah, that's why I came up with this topic, and I thought, come on, let's look at it. Can we solve the problem of absent fathers? Really? Can we solve the problem of absent fathers? Really? Is it possible for us to solve the problem of absent fathers? Really? You think about it. Can we solve the problem of absent fathers? Really? Is it possible to solve it? Yeah, it is possible. We can solve it if only we address these issues that I just listed. If only we address this issue that I've just listed. So I encourage you as families, and I encourage you as those who are serious minded when it comes to relationship, to really look deep into your decisions, look deep into your plans. Don't just run away with the emotions. You need to think, you need to plan. And that's why I shared this thought with you. I believe you have received some good tips on what to do and what not to do. So if you have any questions, please share with us. And I want you to share this video if you like it. Like it. If you have a question, suggestion, put it on the suggestion comment section, and then we'll be able to get back to you on whatever you think. But guess what? I believe that if you will use this information, you actually be putting yourself, your life in a better position as a woman and as a man. Save your family, protect your family, care for them. Think about these things. They are very important. So we have come to the end of our broadcast today, and we have been talking about how can we solve the problem of absent fathers. That's what we have been talking about, and we have shared a lot on this about what we need to solve first, what we need to do. There are things we need to do before we can decide to say, okay, we want to solve the problem of absent fathers. There are a lot of things we need to do. And until we look at those things and solve them, we will not be able to solve this problem. We'll still be having absent fathers problem. Remember, this is Family Aspect. Subscribe if you're here for the first time watching this video. I encourage you to subscribe. I'll be back again with another video shortly, and that'll be streamed, and we'll talk more on what else to do. We bring you information, valuable information and tips and guides that you can implement in your family. Thank you for being part of our broadcast. I'll see you again. God bless. Bye.